Today, guys, welcome back to Can We Talk with Juel, our healing series. Oh my goodness, family and friends, I missed you all. It's been a while. I know a few people have reached out to me and asked me when are we doing a new healing series. You guys enjoyed the few that I did with Mark, and he will be back soon, guys, so hold tight. But today, we are taking a deep dive into some of my very own family generational struggles, things I not only had to separate myself from, but also heal through. And you know, as many of you who know me, some of the deepest betrayal, you guys know, we experience comes from those that are the closest to us. And in my case, I experienced repeated emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual distress that I truly believe originated within my very own family circle. You know, we're often told phrases like, blood is thicker than water, or, girl, but that's family. As if those words alone should cause us to overlook some of the most traumatic experiences of our lives. Sometimes those messages can keep people trapped in unhealthy cycles, returning to relationships that repeatedly wound them instead of protecting their peace. You know, growing up, I often felt like the black sheep because of my faith and the path I choose to walk. My family has Caribbean ancestry. They're rooted there. And like many families, there were things that remained hidden beneath the surface. From the outside, people can appear loving, respectable, and devoted to their faith, yet privately struggle with manipulation, control, secrecy, or spiritual practices that conflict with the values they publicly profess. And many individuals even can develop Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. And go back to not only what repeatedly had broken them to begin with, but ultimately seeks to destroy them out of jealousy and competition. You know, many of them are part, and when I say them, this is my family. Okay, guys? So bear with me because it's heavy stuff. Many of my family members are part of a very popular and large international religious occult that happens to sacrifice relatives for inheritance and insurance policies. The role of the occult is to assist them in, I guess, what you may call the tedious stuff, you know, the harassment, kidnappings, trafficking, and ultimately driving someone insane or to suicide. So they can ultimately win court cases, unbeknownst to them, regarding inheritance. And the occult has been very successful in the past at doing so for a very long time. This is why I have shared previous podcasts with you all on how these life insurance fraud scams work in the past. But when you're determined to break unhealthy generational patterns, you may discover resistance from people you never expected. Choosing a different path often challenges family systems that have existed for generations. Through my very own experiences, I came to believe there were individuals whose motives centered on power, control, money, inheritance, and personal gain. Whether through manipulation, deception, intimidation, or psychological pressure. These experiences had a profound impact on my life. I previously shared with you guys in past episodes where I discussed financial exploitation, inheritance disputes, and life insurance fraud, because these are issues that affected many families around the world. Financial abuse can occur in countless ways, and victims are often unaware until significant damage has already been done. In some situations, important mail or legal correspondence may never even reach the intended recipient. Did you guys hear me? Oftentimes victims' mail regarding inheritance and court cases are rerouted and blocked from the intended parties. So their left hand ultimately never knows what the right hand is doing. This is the first stage that the family and a cult does to ensure a high success rate in grand larceny. The unsuspecting victim is very much clueless that the plans are in motion. Oftentimes, it's too late. They will start experiencing repeated harassment by strangers, hacking, spiritual attacks, along with food poisoning to ensure the false narrative of the individual must be going crazy. That is a sure way to convince the court to give someone else power of attorney over stolen assets. Some have even gone as far as fake marriages in the victim's name, unknowingly, and falsifying documentation. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, well, the gaslighting and victim blaming begins. These unhealed people make agreements with groups to set up the victim to be attacked via multiple ways. Some are even placed on, dare I say it, terrorist watch lists and experimented on for no reason other than to steal what was ultimately passed down to them. And if the family members have any clue that the party who is dying or ill plans on giving inheritance to someone else in the family, they somehow too seem to pass away suddenly and mysteriously before they can even formally advise the person of that inheritance. Now, if you're anything like myself, many of you are unaware of these practices, either simply because of your faith in God or just naturally being, a good human being. And you too would only be clued into this sort of organized crime, God forbid, either when it's your turn to be voted off the island, so to speak, or possibly initiated into that sadistic occult group. And by then it's too late. You will have to kick into survival mode and understand that these family members have chosen a side of greed and wealth over you and your loved ones. And you will have to strategically, and I mean strategically, separate yourself from them with no contact at all, because they will not stop at any means to obtain that wealth, even if it means harming people close to you or the ones you love the most. Financial records may become misplaced or confusing. Communication may suddenly stop. Sudden separations of unions without explanation. And forget about it when it comes to your property. It will be stolen multiple times with threatening communications as to why by your own loved ones. And so then the victim may begin experiencing repeated stress, repeated harassment, repeated cyber incidents, or, God forbid, other troubling events like car accidents. When multiple forms of pressure occur simultaneously, it can become incredibly difficult for someone to separate truth from manipulation. Some generational curse breakers have shared stories involving forged documents, identity fraud, as I mentioned before, fraudulent marriages, abuse of power of attorney, or attempts to gain control over another person's assets. Whether those claims are ultimately proven or not, they demonstrate why documentation, communication, legal representation, and proper investigations are so important. For me, this journey was devastating. It took years to process everything I experienced. Now, if you are anything like me, as I mentioned, you guys are probably even unaware that organized crime would exist in your own family, you know? And what's worse is because of your faith in God, you would probably never even be clued into it. For me, that's an incredibly difficult place to be. It's a very delicate balance between surviving trauma and trying not to let the trauma define you. It's also one of the reasons this podcast took me so long to record, as all the others led up to this moment of truth and ultimate healing right here. Today, I also want to speak directly to anyone who feels they may be navigating family betrayal, financial exploitation, emotional abuse, or manipulation. And my advice to all of you would be this. First, take time to heal. Whatever your faith or spiritual beliefs may be, retreat into what brings you peace. Silence as much outside noise as possible and allow yourself time to recover emotionally. Second, accept your reality without feeling obligated to convince everyone else. You know what you've experienced. Not everyone will understand your journey. And constantly seeking validation can keep you trapped in painful cycles. Third, become comfortable with not being understood or even liked, for that matter, by everyone. Continue moving forward with purpose. Sometimes people dislike you simply because you choose a different path. Don't allow jealousy, resentment, or criticism to stop you from becoming who you were created to be. Fourth, master emotional discipline. If you were once easily provoked, as I know I sometimes was, you have to learn restraint. Remaining calm in difficult situations is not weakness. Sometimes it's your greatest strength. Finally, as you all may know, this podcast started out as a spiritual podcast because my faith is rooted in God, the creator of all things. My encouragement is to stay centered, stay grounded, and trust that even in seasons where I felt isolated, misunderstood, or falsely judged, God is still working. There may be moments when you feel like you're walking through the wilderness with limited resources and your character is being questioned by many. Keep going. Seek your truth with wisdom. Protect your peace. Set healthy boundaries. Allow healing to become your greatest victory. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning into this healing series. My hope is that these conversations encourage healing for those carrying invisible wounds and also provide thoughtful perspectives for professionals, advocates, and investigators who work through complex family conflicts and financial exploitation cases. No matter what you've experienced, remember that healing is possible. I love you all. Until next time, continue protecting your peace, maintaining healthy boundaries, and never stop choosing healing over the hurt. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, fam.
What a powerful episode. Time to celebrate.
Good evening, ma'am. Right this way.
Thank you. Perfect.